Welcome to the first cook-off of the SUTD 3D Printing and Design Innovation Challenge.
I think after meeting my teammates, I'm pretty confident about this competition.
3D food printing is not something that the lay person would accept because they are so used to the conventional way of cooking.
You think that will be in top 3?
Hopefully, later the judges will find the food very appetizing.
This dish is inspired by Gardens by the Bay.
Can I remarket the dish?
The winning team is...
So the students will come in, the researchers will be there, teach them how to use. The team will start to think about what dish they want to create. The basic main ingredient is EM, and we allow a composite dish, 30% non-3D printed is okay.
So that's just a good allocation.
Today is the launch of our 3D food printing competition. This is really something that can excite the young students from JCs as well as even from polytechnics to get them into 3D printing to make food.
Very fundamental.
Now, I don't think any country in the world has ever held a nationwide 3D food printing competition.
Very nervous because it's my first time doing like 3D food printing.
We have hope in this competition, so
we will win.
So you can bring down the weight, you can actually bring down. In the old days before 3D printing, the way they make it is always to take a block of material and remove the excess to get the part that you want. You end up with a lot of waste. But in 3D printing, you make what you need layer by layer. All of us, the building, anything you see is three-dimensional. And they all can be constructed layer by layer. So if you look at 3D printing, how it's evolved since 1988, it all started with polymers and then it moved on to metals, ceramics and other materials, even to the extent of living cells. But the one that actually came in the most recent years is food, printing of food. So it's actually the next frontier. If you digitize food, you therefore have the ability to decide what you want to put.
Today we have prepared some carrot ink and some potato ink. So just fill it to the end and make sure there are no air bubbles inside the capsule. Otherwise it may interfere in the printing process. This is a preset design.
We are both members of the ACS Robotics Technology Society. Therefore, we decided, as part of our general interest in robotics and technology, to participate in this competition.
We're not really good cooks. Never ever experienced cooking before in my life.
From here, we can choose from a whole range of shades. We can maybe print a leaf. We will log in using a computer and use the same design software to create your dish.
I don't really think we need to be that great of a cook.
Been paired up with our teammate from Sunrise Cooking Academy, so we are hoping we could leverage his skills to sort of work together and come up with a product.
The limit will be 11 cm, actually very high.
I think after meeting my teammates, I'm pretty confident about this competition, yeah.
You think that will be in top 3?
It is important that we promote science engineering to the students. We want to have enough of this talent pool which will come to SUTD, and then these are the same people who will go out and transform the industry. And 3D printing is a tool that will last for the next 50 years.
Welcome to the first cook-off of the SUTD Armstrong 3D Printing and Design Innovation Challenge.
Our concept will be like Gardens by the Bay, one of the trees, right? So we plan to do a tower.
Okay, what was before again? What was the last iteration?
28.
Add a bit of the cream.
So we want to make 3 sunflowers with a stem at the bottom, so it's like lifted up.
Okay.
And then we have a butterfly on top of the sunflower.
Wow, how do you get this color? So in the past 2 weeks, they have to learn all the aspects of concept modeling through software as well as conceptualizing it and printing it using the 3D printer. So right now this is basically the base. And what is all these small little things at the
It's
top?
like rice cracker coating, then you crushed it.
So that one is not 3D printed, it's just placed on top.
Yeah,
I try to use it to act as a base for our tower.
Okay.
If not, if we print it directly on top, it might.
the paste, it will not be stable.
3D food printing is not something that the lay person would accept because they are so used to the conventional way of cooking. Secondly, high cost. By developing our own food printers, we can actually bring the cost down. Thirdly, I think speed is very key. And once you can increase the speed, then you can address the issue of scalability at the same time.
How is your printing going? We ran into some complications and it's not turning out as we want it to be, but then we are trying to like recover it with the icing on the top. While waiting for our printer, we actually went around to look at the other groups. They are very strong competitor to us. Yeah, so actually a bit scared for that.
I'm working on food 3D printing for developing fiber-rich and protein-rich snacks for elderly patients. The idea is to also have some probiotics and prebiotics in there. Hospitals have specifically asked for dishes that the elderly like dumplings or mooncake made with protein. Later we can provide the healthy foods for schools or sports nutrition. We want to enrich lives with 3D printed food. I always wanted to make a big impact, especially related to technology. 3D printing is the most flexible manufacturing method. It allows for a lot more variation in the types of parts that you make. So since every individual is different, for providing personalized nutrition, we need a lot of variation from one meal to the next. If we use multi-material food 3D printing, which is to say that just putting out all the different ingredients in the right proportions and in a satisfying format in the form of taste and flavors, that is something that is made possible only with 3D printing.
This has been his baby, his pride and joy, and his total focus. When he came and joined me 4 years ago, I was at that time working targeting the health of the elderly. So when Anirudh walked into our centre saying, "I want to do this," it was a perfect match.
Food 3D printing has existed for a decade, so that is relatively new. However, most of the focus was on the aesthetics and fine dining stuff. And I thought that we should use machines for the calculation and measurement of personalized nutrition, optimized diet. Everyone is busy professional these days, and we do want to eat healthier. So I thought, as an engineer, why not automate that so you can put in your medical history, your BMI, dietary preferences. The system would be able to optimize the diet for you. And no matter where you are in the world, if there is an enriched printer or automated restaurant facility around, you could just order with your app and you would have the best possible meal that you could be having. This was the OG, the first multi-material food 3D printer that I built. But this was very limited because the controller could not do more complicated designs, so I could only make straight lines. So this is the second version, and now we have swappable cartridges and we are able to have multi-material printing. The third version has much bigger cartridges, as you can see, so we can store a lot more material in every one. This is the fourth machine in the series. It allows for material change to be a lot faster than the previous version. It's making the sound. I hope it's moving, right?
Yeah, it's moving. Yeah, be careful.
At my core, I am an engineer. When I look at any problem, I start to think about creative solutions. If we are able to further improve the paste production process by using powders instead of the original ingredients, we might be able to significantly reduce the volume and weight that we have for the paste or the raw materials that I use in the printing. So this could be used in disaster relief situations. A lot more food can be sent over and used with the water produced on the spot. So the biggest hurdles that we face now would be the technological hurdle of learning how to make the machines more usable, more reliable. I thought it would be just weighing it down.
It looks sticky.
Yeah, I just need to make sure that they go down and under. I was really excited to see how well the new prints came out. All the previous tests that I had done over the years, there was always some errors.
That's kind of interesting, how it spread out.
We can still taste it. I know it doesn't taste like much, but this has more flavor than the other one. If we continuously push through, the nozzle might still get blocked. The motor is not strong enough for the spurting. It just stops extruding after it gets stuck.
So I'll try to maybe see whether I can use the food processor differently to blend it. One of the owners of the 195 Pearl Hill Cafe. For most of our customer base is actually seniors. I'm thinking of how to also involve getting healthier food options to them. And plant-based meat, you could actually create different kind of nutrients also can be added to it. I was actually fiddling with Lego one day when we were trying to make a replica of different kind of food, and then it dawned on me that can we actually print it? Because when we are doing it by hand, one of the toughest things is your body, it's strained, your backs to your standing hours, and those actually gets a toll on us over time.
As he approached from the industry side with a real life problem, that got me a lot more pumped up about the possibilities with food printing. Ben was also always very excited about making things healthier for his customers. A lot of the customers are also elderly, so that is a very good fit for what we are trying to do.
So this is the sample you made?
Yeah.
The first one we did with the sugar. So I think the texture back then was a little bit more crispy.
This is relatively...
We actually have been going back and forth on the R&D process of the printing methods. This process of innovation is usually a path less traveled in the food business. Most owners would go for just pure profits. I would say in current times, doing both is actually very important.
1/3 of food is always wasted every day. And we're talking about a huge amount of food that can actually be recycled back into the food chain. That would be a huge contribution to mankind. So there are a lot of byproducts that we see in everyday production of food. For instance, the byproduct of making tofu is okara, and this okara will be thrown away. Likewise, with coffee, you get coffee grind. With tea, you get tea leaves. By printing them, you can actually make them into holistic meals which has nutritional value. And if we can bring health into this equation through technology, that will make this really a better world. And this is something that has been driving me in the last few years.
Just now when we were trying to print like a tower component of our design, the nozzle we chose was too small and the paste inside jammed up and it didn't print properly.
I'm starting to feel like less confident.
I was like scared because just now we nearly didn't complete our work, but somehow we managed to pull through, so I'm relieved right now.
Hopefully, later the judges will find the food very appetizing.
Very nice. Very nice, very nice.
I'm Anirudh, and we are here to present the future of personalized nutrition with food 3D printing project. This was the
presentation today was a very exciting milestone for us because it's effectively the culmination of 4 years of work. A lot is lying on future funding and acceptance from NAMIC of what we've been doing.
So we're looking for solutions that we can make ourselves and then mass produce so that they are relatively more affordable. We see that now the technology is sort of at a level where we can make a commercially viable prototype. So in the next grant, that's what we'll try to do. By the end of it, we should have something that can be put directly in the market. This is the new. So the biggest hurdles that we face now, the technological hurdle of learning how to make the machines more usable, more reliable, can be partially solved by getting more fundings.
The challenge that we are facing right now is also justifying the industry commercialization part of it, right? Like, who are those people who are really interested to adopt this if we develop this successfully?
So we can go into hospitals, we can go for restaurants or schools, depending on where the highest demand comes from. We have to make the financial projections according to that.
We do see an opportunity on developing guideline as maybe a fundable project.
This dish is inspired by Gardens by the Bay. This will have different flowers under a dome. Yeah.
So this was printed?
Yeah.
So even if you printed the base, your printed stuff is on the side that is actually visual.
Our design is that of a butterfly in a garden of sunflowers.
It may look nice, but the thing is, it has to be products that you can print that perhaps the chef is not able to, or anybody is not able to do by hand.
So you can see our dish is inspired by the local art science museum, and we have adapted the shape to resemble that. All the garnishes are supposed to represent our city in a garden.
What is the difference without printing the base because you have the thing covering on the top?
We felt that by printing the base, we are able to bring out like this sort of spiral detail onto the dish.
But it's covered by the thing on the top.
As the world advances, pollution, deforestation, and endangerment of both plant and animal species is posing a threat to the preservation of our forests, which leads you to our leaf, which is a dal and a plain teh sap.
I like the way you market the dish. You had used a printer to print out leaves and flowers. I can see a nice layering there, and it's stable as well.
I feel like we will win this because of the feedback that the judges give us and like the fact that she took a second bite.
Well done.
Last few days have been stressful trying to finish up the resogger and refiller properly.
But they worked today.
Yeah.
Yay!
Prof. Patricia is one of the few people that have stuck through the whole process, through thick and thin, especially when the times got really hard. This motor can go fast, but again, it stalls. I just bring that down. We did have the demonstration already. Now it feels like there's a little bit more hope. And with the NAMIC funding, having Ben on our side will help to bolster the confidence in future applications, as well as make sure that we are on the right path. So the next layer is going to be with the second material.
This is a special award which is judged entirely on the taste criteria alone. And the winning team is, drum roll, Team B8, New Era from Republic Polytechnics. Please come on stage to receive your prize. Congratulations, team.
Yay! So we finally won a competition.
Winning this award has helped us to gain confidence, as well as we have now more strength to advance to the finals.
So remember that in future when you see digital food, it all started at SUTD. You are making history. Now for the last 30 years, I've been an evangelist. This is almost like a personal mission. Whenever I have a chance to interact with not just companies but even countries, I have always been there to help, to advise, to encourage them into this technology. Hopefully in my lifetime, the food printer will become an accessory just like your microwave oven, and recipes that you have can then be downloaded on the web. You can upload and sell your recipe.